All right, party animals. We were talking behind stage, and we just decided to go with it because it's actually kind of banging.
Yeah.
We're doing a bunch of things behind the scenes right now. We're trying to explain how Choctaw's student section started yelling "Daddy's money" at Niceville's student section last week. Got nothing there. We're trying to figure out why there's so many G-Wagons with 16-year-olds in Gulf Breeze. And now we're talking about scratch ankle, the history of Milton. So why, Colin?
So the best way I can describe it is Milton was a logging town and agricultural hub in the 1800s because that's where the railroad was, and that connected Crestview to Pensacola. And interesting part of Milton history is there's a lot of logging that happened, and they would just float logs down the Blackwater River. But there's a lot of bugs and mosquitoes that would bite you in the ankles, so there was a scratch ankle festival. So yada yada yada. But what happened is the conversation turned into, this was the peak of my high school experience at scratch ankle. So it was my junior year. I was showing off, and my first vehicle was a Ford Windstar.
Gang.
My boy Ronnie Whitaker, shout out him. Hope you're doing well, pull me. We got stuck, and this girl I was talking to, I think we dated for like a month after, and then it stopped because I'm a nerd. But we got stuck, and the Milton Fire Department tried to come rescue us. Well, they got stuck too. So we helped them get out first, and then mud splattered all over us. So obviously, because we're dirty, we went to the car wash in Milton, right on Stewart Street, right next to the food outlet, the Pick and Save. And my boy and I, and a couple of us, as kids do, as teenage boys do, who are dirty and filled with mud, paid $5 for a car wash and decided to run ourselves through the car wash as it was going.
And Milton won the first round of the playoffs that year, right?
No, this was the year before.
Okay, so that's not a time-honored tradition they need to bring back under.
I have no words for that.
All I know is I was on that team that went to the first round of playoffs, who beat Niceville by 14 points.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. So, welcome to the final approach to game day. I am your humble correspondent in the top left, Christopher Saul, along with Colin Bester in the top right, Hunter Brock, owner of Final Approach Irrigation in the bottom left, and Heath Rominger's Renovations, joining us today for this show. Guys, it was a bad week last week. Not just for the Niceville homers among us, but it looks like just about everybody that wasn't Choctaw or Fort Walton Beach. So basically the city of Fort Walton Beach, good week. Everybody else, not great. Any takeaways from last week's beatdown from Choctaw and Niceville?
It was brutal.
He wants to jump on that one.
Yeah.
I tell you, I did. I was very optimistic, and I thought the guys would come back and kind of just have a redemption week. But to Choctaw's credit, they were the better team. They had a lot of depth. I'll tell you, they were playing smash mouth defense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just, they were clearly the better team, and they earned it. Niceville, not really sure what kind of happened, but I did notice a few things though, that they did have a little troubles shutting down the defensive ends coming around the corners. I mean, they were putting pressure on quarterback constantly all night, and just weren't able to kind of get a good groove. Now, to Niceville's credit though, they did shut down the Choctaws shutout for quarters of no scores.
Mm-hmm.
So they did score in the fourth quarter there to put a into that rain. So kudos there.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter, you were sitting about 30 rows above me, so you can actually see above the cheerleaders in the physical therapy tent. What did you see from the game, and what were your takeaways?
Man, it was ugly. It was ugly. It was rough. Nobody likes to see getting beat that bad at home. Heath really hit the nail on the head here. We definitely struggled with the pressure coming around the end on the offensive side of the ball there. And when you just don't have time for your quarterback, and your quarterback don't have time in the backfield to do anything, that's killing you on an offensive side of the ball right there. Other than that, I mean, yeah, Choctaw was the better team. I also feel like, and I've been noticing this throughout the year, kind of paying attention, I was really expecting Niceville to be stronger stamina-wise this year. I feel like by the time we come into the third quarter, we're gassed. So I don't know what's going on there. You know, I mean, all summer long, I'd drive by right out here, John Sims, right past the stadium here, and most of you guys know about the big hill way over there by the baseball field, and they had football team, I don't know what position, but they had guys running up and down that hill all summer, you know, like conditioning. So what was going on here?
Well, Hunter, now if you notice now, Niceville has some key players playing both sides of the ball.
That's true. So that is true.
Now, I tell you what, in junior high school, that was very common. But in high school, I mean, that's obviously a different level of football. And to have these guys play on both sides of the ball for 4 quarters, that takes a lot of
that's a long night. It's a long night.
I'll tell you what, it wears on you physically and also mentally. So you know, there's a lot to be said about that. But I tell you, you know, I think that's one thing that Niceville didn't really have, is some depth. Choctaw, I thought, had a lot of depth, and were able to deliver, you know, and just really wear down the defense. And of course, they just, you know, the front line controlled the offense for Choctaw. They were able to move the ball pretty much at will, and you know, and show that they put in the work.
Yeah, guys, I would say, you know, in the first quarter, I think it was it 21 or 28-0 by halftime. I thought Niceville had some decent ball movement from the offense that we haven't seen from the last couple of games. So it wasn't like Niceville was on its way to getting creamed in the first quarter. I thought that they were possibly maybe going to make a game of it. I didn't think they were going to win, not after the first quarter, but I mean,
well, it's like they were driving the ball, but then it's like they'd hit a brick wall. Yeah. It's like we're moving, bam. Like, so not sure what happened there. And one other thing, not to change the subject on you guys, but I really want to know what's going on with our long snapper, our punt snapper. Like, what's happening here? I mean, we typically roll the ball back there, and then the other night we snapped the ball 10 yards over the punter's head, and our punter got annihilated on that play.
Yeah, I think he lost 20 yards on that play too. I mean, he was the biggest loser of the night. Niceville total offense last weekend was 118 yards. And to put that in perspective for you guys, that's a little bit more than Choctaw has actually been given up throughout this entire year. And they played some really good teams. So I think Choctaw has given up, and let me pull it up just real quick. They've given up about 134 yards on average, but their median giveaway is about 95. So this is a really, really good defense. And I thought their offense, Choctaw's offense, looked much better than they did in their game against Crestview, even though they won that game by 28. Against, I think, Pine Forest, they looked better. Against Niceville. Colin, you know, you saw Choctaw play Pine Forest, and you saw them play Niceville. What do you think about this offense now?
I also saw them play against Navarre. And one of the things that it reminded me last week was it reminded me a lot about their game against Navarre, where they're a high-scoring offense. Pine Forest has one of the better defenses in the area. Their record may not show it, but Pine Forest did travel very well and actually caused Choctaw a lot of problems. But what we saw against Niceville, I did not see all year. Taman Zabakis could actually throw this week, unlike previous weeks where he's usually like 5 for 13. He actually had, I think, above a 50% completion percentage this week or against Niceville. So it was good to see that their offense rebounded off a not, I wouldn't say a stellar game against Pine Forest, but I think they actually had a game where offense, defense, and special teams actually came together. And when all three facets of that game comes together for this Choctaw team, you're going to see results like that pretty commonly, I think, throughout the rest of the season, like we saw against Niceville.
Yeah, so long story short, Niceville not looking great so far in the year, 2-3 so far. The other team that kind of surprised us, guys, I think we all picked Walton to beat Fort Walton Beach, and Fort Walton Beach came up with a very close win into Funiac Springs. So they got their first win of the year. Walton County is in action against South Walton in the 30A area. I'll be at that game tonight while Colin's taking care of business over there in Gulf Breeze for us. But let's go through a couple more of these other games that we're going to see tonight. First things first, Niceville at Gulf Breeze. Started using our grading tracker for our teams as we kind of go throughout the year. I've been able to aggregate some of our big data stuff and give everybody kind of letter grades. You'll notice that quality wins there at the bottom is empty for both teams. And of course, Gulf Breeze hasn't won a game this year, but Niceville's 2 wins against Pine Forest and Escambia are against teams with losing records. So no quality wins over there, but Niceville's offense significantly better than a very, very lethargic Gulf Breeze defense. I watched them play South Walton, and they had a spark at the beginning, but it's pretty much all I've seen from them all year. And then both defenses are giving up a ton of yardage on the year. I think Niceville is, giving up somewhere in the neighborhood of, I want to say, about 350 yards a game. Gulf Breeze is doing much worse, 381 yards per game that they're allowing. So much to be desired from both of these teams on defense. What are you looking for, guys, for who's going to be the difference maker? What's going to make the difference in this game for you guys?
Ability to move the ball on the offense.
Simply put, man. What do you think, Hunter?
Whichever defense shows up tonight.
Colin?
I don't know. That's the problem. The thing is, Niceville has a 2-3 record, but I do not think this team is good enough to show that they've won 2 games. And their only wins there is over losing opponents. Honestly, this team could have been 1-4, I think, if there's a worst case scenario. To me, Gulf Breeze has shown flashes of brilliance in offense since week 1, but that's the problem. There's always flashes. I mean, the quarterback, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, so I do apologize for any Gulf Breeze watchers over here. But he has 193 yards. Jackson Walker has 195 passing yards so far this season, which is the lowest in all of Northwest Florida. But he also leads the team in rushing with 102 yards on 31 carries, averaging 3.3 yards per carry. If Niceville is able to clamp him down, which they should be able to do, it's going to be a long night for Gulf Breeze. But we were talking about this off air. Gulf Breeze has they can do the funniest thing ever tonight and get off to, because their season's not over unless they lose tonight. If they lose tonight, they fall to last in District 1-5A. They still have Milton, and they still have Milton and Mosley ahead of them. They're probably going to lose both of those games. But if they win tonight, and if they beat one of those 2, they could backdoor their way into the playoffs. So really, for Gulf Breeze, they're backed into a corner tonight. Their season could end tonight, and that's no joke. So this is sort of their last hurrah for 2025.
Yeah, and Niceville, the last time Niceville lost 3 games in a row, 2018, and that was against, Crestview at home. They lost 7-28. Then they lost to Navarre 13-38, and then they lost again to Crestview in the first round of the playoffs, 33-62. So it's been 7 years since they lost 3 games in a row. It's been a while. They did the same thing the year before in 2017, where they lost, I think, a final regular season game, a playoff game, and then the home opener. So it's been a long, long time since they've lost 3 regular season games in a row, far further back than our data set goes. So if they want to avoid this, they're gonna need to show up to play today, guys.
Well, Chris, something we haven't touched on yet. Last week, Niceville had 2 key players out, one on offense and one on defense. Now, those are playmakers. Now, that hindered the offense and the defense from productivity. But it was at number 4, Noah Rennes. Is that am I saying his name correctly?
Yeah, Rennes.
He was out, and then
Max Roche as well
before he even started. Then Max Roche, he was a kind of a like pregame. Had a medical emergency and was not able to make it down to the field. So prayers gone out to him. I don't have an update on any of those 2 there, or at least Max. I do believe that Noah
Pontevedra transfer who came in and is supposed to really kind of anchor our defense this year. And then Max Roche, even though he missed last week's game, he's still in the top 10 for Northwest Florida receiving yards.
Yeah.
He's number 10, but he's incredible. I mean, the guy runs like a train.
Well, and, he runs those seam routes. And I tell you what, he executes those. I tell you, between with him on the receiving side, and then Deegan tossing the ball there. I mean, Deegan's got a great arm on him. He is well poised, and he can deliver a pass. I expect to see him at the next level as well. So now, if they're healthy and back in the game, I think it's going to be Knoxville's going to have obviously increase their chances of a quality win here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll be looking into this one. Let's go to a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back and talk about the rest of the games that we have. Looking forward to tonight. It's going to be an excellent night for football if it doesn't rain on all of us. The Final Approach to Game Day is brought to you by the good folks at Final Approach Irrigation. Owner and president Hunter Brock is one of the guys on this show and does a great job making sure that your lawn is looking like you could play on it for game day. They install irrigation systems and design them as well, and they provide even and efficient water distribution, keeping your lawn and landscape healthy while also making sure to conserve water. And if your sprinkler system is in need of an update, he's the guy to go to as well. They maintain and repair sprinkler systems from little broken sprinkler heads to faulty valves and leaks. They make sure to offer you fast and reliable repairs to keep your system running smooth. And finally, they take care of the little stuff that you may not think of that is super important to keeping a healthy lawn. Stuff like making sure that your drainage is properly installed and working. No matter what, Hunter and the folks at Final Approach Irrigation can take care of you. Well, let's bring it back in. Hunter Brock currently getting rained on. It's first time it's rained here in probably, 20, 30 years. It's nice to have an irrigation specialist on the show to talk a little bit about the tomfoolery that can happen to your lawn when it does not rain for long periods of time, and then you turn on your irrigation system and it doesn't work like mine does. Anyway, Hunter, you're looking at the field right now. How's it looking for Niceville to be playing on that in the next couple of weeks? I mean, is it looking super dead? I see a rainbow in the background. That's nice too.
Yeah, no. So actually, it's raining right now, and lucky for me, I'm under a shelter. But I managed to find the only place that this thing leaks, and it dripped on me during that commercial break there. So I've slid over a little bit, but field is looking better. We got that one spot on the far side, which I'm kind of just thinking, it's Bermuda, and they've been playing on it. Looking a little rough, but just probably from all the traffic on there. Other than that, though, the field's looking pretty good. It was looking greener today, I think, than it was last week. So maybe some of that rain we got last night with something to do with it. But man, everybody's been calling the last 2 weeks. It's been wild. Everybody's got problems. Everything's broken. It's dry.
I believe it, man. Well, looking into this, the field conditions, it hasn't rained for about a month, right? And now it's raining a lot. So what does that mean for field conditions going in tonight for all of our area teams?
Slippery.
Fair enough. I will take that, and I appreciate that cogent analysis from our own Hunter Brock. So Hunter, I'm going to get out from behind your logo over here, and I'm going to look at our next game that we're going to be looking at. We are not going to this one. Alexis Williams, one of our team members, is going to be taking photos at that. Looks like I lost Hunter for a minute. That's okay. I'll bring him back on. There we go. And so 4-1 Catholic, who have played a number of very good teams against 4-0 Freeport, who have played a bunch of rural teams, is going to be playing. And Freeport's offense has looked really hot. They've had, just untold numbers of yardage. I think they're near 500 yards on average, which is insane for a high school football team. So they have one of the very few A ratings that we give out for offenses and defenses. But Pensacola's not far behind. They're doing a lot of work on offense as well. They have a B rating. Defenses are both C's, and neither of them yet to have a quality win. As I said, Freeport has played, the Cottondales and the Jays of the world, a bunch of small rural teams who can still be very good. Baker's in our top 10 for the first time ever this week. But for the most part, these rural teams are very small, and they're in the rural classification for a reason. So, Colin, you and I have been talking about this matchup all week, and while I am switching the Final Approach Irrigation logo from in front of my face to out of my face, tell us why you're watching this game.
Yeah, so Freeport's coming off a bye. They're hosting Pensacola Catholic, which to them I think is going to be the most, I think the toughest team that Freeport has played all year long. Pace is, Pensacola Catholic has been tested before with a loss to Pace. That is a good loss for them. Pace is one of the best teams in the area, but they have blown out everyone else who they played. So it's Freeport's high-powered offense who dropped 71 points, which I think is a Northwest Florida high. I don't think any other team has come close to scoring that many points in a single game this year versus a Pensacola Catholic team who averages about 20 to 25 points on defense a game. So it's probably going to be a rock hitting. It's probably going to be this unstoppable force that is Carter Nuns and Riley Leonard of the Freeport offense versus the Catholic defense. And I know I picked Catholic to win. I think I was more confident in this, but the more I think about it, I kind of get a little less confident knowing that Freeport can actually score points at will against any team they play.
Yeah, I mean, Heath and Hunter, you guys have seen a lot of football, especially from a Freeport team that in the past has been, I would say, pretty average, pretty pedestrian, especially moving up from rural to 2A. For smaller teams like this, what do you need to see in order to be convinced that, hey, this Freeport team is not only a top 10 team, but has the potential to win their district?
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, these guys got everything to prove, and just watching how their games are progressing right now. I mean, some pretty impressive wins. Now the Cottondale game, what was that, 71-60? I wasn't really impressed with that. That just told me that no defense showed up for that one. But the other games went only 19-14, and then they had another close one with I can't see who they played. What was that, Northview or something? It was 48-43. So they're making a statement. We got no audio from you.
Yeah, Christopher's muted.
Yeah, he's muted.
Yeah.
My bad, guys. Colin,
you
would you mind telling us a little bit more about Julius Miles and these high-powered offensive guys that are probably going to be playing at the next level? What are you expecting to see from those dudes?
Yeah, so Julius Miles is the only one right now who has a D1 commitment on this Freeport team. He will be going to Louisville next season, and possibly, I don't think he'll be a starting tight end, but he'll probably be getting some snaps and getting some ACC play. I think SMU is on Louisville's schedule next year, Christopher, so I do apologize to that. He may
beat him by 80.
He may run wild on your SMU Mustangs, ponies up, but,
forever.
Julius Miles is probably the best receiver, I think, that's coming out of Northwest Florida in a very long time. He has the size and the speed to play at the next level. He possibly has the size and speed to play on Sundays too. So it may be one of these nice success stories from Walton County, eventually seeing a player in the NFL. But, you look at rushing yards as well. Riley Leonard for Freeport as well. He's also having a fantastic season as well. So you have a stud quarterback in Carter Nuns, Riley Leonard at running back, Julius Miles at wide receiver tight end. This is on paper an unstoppable offense. And Catholic has a pretty big task ahead of them because this is probably going to be the best offense they've played all year. Mind you, Pace is really one-dimensional coming off the backs of Mikael Williams. This is a team that can air it out. And Catholic, according to my notes, hasn't forced a lot of turnovers in the secondary. They haven't had a lot of interceptions this year. So this could be a chance for Freeport actually balls out. If they win this game, which is very likely to happen, that Baker-Freeport matchup in 3 weeks becomes probably one of the most interesting matchups in Northwest Florida this entire season, where you have two high-powered offenses like Baker does going against Freeport. We might see Freeport versus Cottondale Part 2.
Yeah,
that's how it could shape up. So the Freeport, it's probably the most interesting team for me in all of Northwest Florida. And Christopher, you and I have talked about it. All the best football, I think, right now is being played in Walton County.
I agree. Well, moving on to our next game, we're looking at Milton playing Mosley. Guys, if these two teams were closer into our coverage area, I'd probably be at all of these games. These are two very good teams, one that we totally did not expect to be any good at all. Well, I'm going to toot my own horn here. I thought they were going to win 5 games this year, Milton. I was like, oh yeah, they're definitely going to win 5 games. Well, they've already won 5 games. Now what? I mean, they're going to lose 5 games? Probably not. I like them to win the district, guys. I think that they're pretty good. And I'm interested to see if this defense can hold up against a very good Mosley offense. Milton right there has 2 quality wins, one over Tate, one over Washington. Both those teams have winning records. And Mosley, I put Rickards in there, but I was incorrect. Rickards is actually 1-3, not 3-1. So Mosley doesn't have any quality wins yet. They do have a close-ish, I think it was 10-point loss to Bay, who looks pretty good this year. Go figure. But guys, Mosley is like the beast from the East for Niceville. So what are you guys thinking about this game tonight?
Well, I'm looking at stats here, and I tell you, Milton's not that impressive with the receiving yards per game with their leading receiver, only 19 yards per game. Now, they do have a running game producing 88.2 yards per game. Now, if you control the clock in the ground game, that's easy to win. That's an easy way to win. And but I'd be interested to see if Milton can toss the ball around a little bit more and do the air attack.
Yeah, and Colin, Caden Hall is the guy who kind of plays like 17 positions for Milton, including quarterback, I guess now. How do you utilize a kid that can play that many positions that well without like losing the ability to actually get stuff done?
According to my sources at Milton High School, very well. Last week against Navarre, he had 4 rushing touchdowns on the ground, 1 passing touchdown through the air, and he also got an interception on defense. He was an excellent player. He's so good so far this season that USA Today has listed him as the top player in the state of Florida. So congratulations to Katie Hall. He is a 4-star commit. He will be playing for the University of Florida on Saturdays next year. But this Milton team is truly impressive. To me, as a Milton alum, I did not think they would be 5-0. I thought they'd be better than they were the past couple years, but never in a million years did I think they would be 5-0. And Christopher, as you and I were talking about this game throughout the week, sort of take the players out of this. These are 2 great head coaches in Northwest Florida, Ronnie Douglas at Milton and Tommy Joe Whitten at Mosley. I think this isn't come down to players in the field. This is going to become a mind game between 2 of Northwest Florida's greatest coaches in high school football. So I think this is the game of the week by far. If Milton wins this, they control District 1-5A until they play Niceville, who I think is their next closest competitor. Obviously, they do play Gulf Breeze coming off a bye on October 9th. But if they win tonight, go into a bye week 6-0, come out of a bye week facing Gulf Breeze, we could be looking at Milton as going from 0-10 last year to becoming the District 1-5A winner. And to put it in perspective, right now, according to FHSAA, who are now putting out ranked playoff predictions, Milton and Mosley would meet in the first round if the season ended today. So that is the kind of the road that these both teams are on. Is whoever wins this game, I think the rubber match could be in the first round of the playoffs later this season.
So Heath and Hunter is my homers, right, for Niceville, he said, wearing a boggy hat. Who would you rather play for a district championship? Would you rather have Milton or Mosley?
Well, I'll tell you, Mosley right now, we haven't looked at, is they're actually a pretty balanced offense. The leading receiver is pushing up 75 yards a game. They're averaging, with Samuel Chisholm, 114 yards per game. That's not too bad for to be able to have some weapons on the field. So compared to Milton, it just depends on how the defenses are going to show up. If I got a strong defense, Milton. If I've got a strong offense, Mosley.
Hunter?
And that's the whole key. If, what's going to show up that night? Are we going to show up on offense? Are we going to show up on defense? Are we going to show up on both sides of the ball? So, yeah, I mean, you guys have kind of covered this one pretty good here, but I agree. This has got to be the game of the week tonight. And I don't know who I would pick right now. Okay, yeah, Milton's undefeated. Mosley's got 1 loss. Mosley's got the 1 loss to Bay, which we, had a good time with Bay in the Kickoff Classic. So I'm still I'm still trying to figure out what happened on that week, because I think Bay was just like, nah, we're not going to show anybody anything or something. I don't know, but I think the Milton guys are coming from a 0 team to turn around undefeated right now. They gotta have a fire lit in them that's unreal, and I can say that from my freshman year at Niceville. The freshman team was 0, and we came back our JV year. The next year, we went from having 60-something guys on the team to 24, and we turned around and went undefeated. So I know what that feeling's like, and when you get that role, there's not much in front of you that's going to slow you down. But Mosley and Tommy Joe Whidden is proven tried and true. So who do you pick?
I think I did a pre-pick Mosley. I can't remember who I picked, but after the talks, I'm definitely would support Mosley tonight.
Right on. Guys, this is the they ain't played nobody Paul Feinbaum pick of the week for us. It's Walton at South Walton. So I mean, South Walton has played Fort Walton Beach, and they have played Gulf Breeze, which are technically bigger teams than them. But as we know so far from this campaign, they ain't good. They have one win between those two teams over there, and then Walton lost to Fort Walton Beach, giving it its only win of the year, right? And then they lost to West Florida Tech in a 6-36 kind of blowout. So I don't know about this one, guys. I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup. I'm really excited because the district itself to get to the playoffs for 2A football could be wide open. I think we talked about this earlier, Colin, that any four of these teams could be the number one team in District 1, 2A1, right? And any one of these teams could be in last. I stand by that, but I'm not picking any of these four teams to be the number one team in Northwest Florida anytime soon. I think Catholic's pretty good. I'm probably still favoring them to win this thing, but I don't know, guys. It's kind of a toss-up for me. I think second place is going to be very competitive in this district too.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah, I think District 1, 2A is interesting because I think it's everyone chasing Catholic at this point. And not to say that, the other teams are bad, but I'm just saying Catholic, I think on paper has the talent that they can go to a 6A or 7A school and, pull out a win. Whereas I don't think South Walton, Freeport have that ability to do that as well. Going in this matchup, Walton is coming after starting 2-0. They now fell. They lost the last two games. South Walton went on the road last week, their first road game of the season, lost to Florida FSU High School. So both of these teams are looking to rebound, but you look at the teams and you look at who they played and you look at offensive numbers and defensive production, it looks like South Walton is easily the favorite in this game. Having a home game, it is a rivalry game, so anything can happen, like we just saw with Niceville versus Crestview a couple weeks ago. So, I mean, this is going to be a hard-hitting game. This is going to be a lot of emotion, but I do think South Walton pulls away with this game.
Yeah. Well, guys, let's see. After this one, we've got a Pace Crestview. And speaking of them, let's pull up those Crestview highlights after we talk a little bit about the stats on the ground. I mean, Pace 4-1. Their only loss to a very good Alabama team. And Crestview has one win that's over Niceville in close fashion at the Eagles Nest. Pace does have that quality win, though, over Catholic, and a very, very good offense. It's on the back of Mikhail Williams. The only thing that really bothers me about Pace is how good are they without Mikhail Williams? Is Mikhail Williams 90% of this team?
Touchdown-wise, he is. I mean, if you looked at the stats before the show, Pace has scored 20 touchdowns so far, and Mikhail Williams is responsible for 15 of them. So that's the amount of production that he has. But I think this offensive line is really the star of the Pace offense. And to be honest with you, I think me, you, Heath, Hunter, a 50-year-old grandma could probably get 100 yards off this Pace offensive line. That's how good they really are. I'm having a Mike Wazowski moment. What is that? What's that supposed to mean?
Maggie's just talking to you, man. Don't worry about it. Don't let her distract you.
I'm more of a Sully guy myself, Maggie, but whatever. What we're talking about. But Crestview is interesting to me because you were talking is like, Pace is going to smoke Crestview, Christopher. That's your words. That's what you said. If anyone, it's at Christopher@midbaynews.com if you want to email.
I'll back him up on it. I'll back him up on it.
Yeah, you tell him, Hunter. Let him know.
But here's the thing. Crestview is coming off a bye week. Like they've had all the time to prepare for this Pace team, and Pace still had to go play Andalusia and prepare for them. So I think this game is going to be a lot closer than what people think. I still think Pace is going to win this game, but I wouldn't be shocked if I would not be surprised at all if Crestview wins this game too.
Yeah, and a little behind the scenes on this one. Colin lobbied me hard to let him go to this Crestview Pace game, and I said no because I thought that the Niceville Gulf Breeze one will be better. If you think I'm wrong, Christopher at midbaynews.com, or you could just harangue me in the chat, which we're always bringing up to show the haters and the lovers of our show. But Heath, I mean, Crestview just got a really emotional win over Niceville that we're watching right now. Do you think they can carry this against what looks like an unstoppable force at Pace right now?
Well, like I said, Crestview has got a lot of talent on the field, and to watch them come back and play the Eagles like they did in the second half, it's going to be a great game. And the talent is there. I feel like those young boys found a spark they needed with the win here in Niceville. To kind of give them a really edge that, they're hungry enough that they enjoyed the wins. They want to see some more wins. I think they're going to be poised to pull off a pretty good season.
Yeah, and Hunter, I mean, you watched this game as well. What were your thoughts on Crestview out of that Niceville game and coming into this Pace one tonight, man?
I missed that game. I was out of town that week.
Right.
But still, coming off a bye, okay, that's great. They had an extra week to prepare, had some time off, but are they celebrating too much in there or getting ready? Because Pace has traditionally been a good, strong team. And I don't think, if Crestview is able to pull this off, I don't think it's going to be an easy win. I mean, okay, we did see here at Niceville that anything can happen, and we still don't know what happened there. But I think Pace is going to pull it off. I really do. The offensive line and to speak to that regards, they've always had a strong offensive line. Pace has always been strong up front, as long as I can remember. And so I think Pace is going to win. I picked Pace to win in this one, and maybe we're surprised here, but sure, Crestview's had a little more time to prepare and maybe a little more rested. But I know the mental side of the Crestview-Niceville rivalry and winning that game. Did they celebrate a little too hard on that? Or are they like, oh man, we beat Niceville, we can beat anybody? What's going to happen?
Exactly. Well, last one to pick before we go into our commercial break is a good one. Tate 4-1 against what I would say is probably going to be an underrated Navarre team. I don't think they're good enough to beat Tate, but I don't think they're as bad as 0-4 looks. I mean, they have a C offense, so they have about an average offense and a little bit under average defense. I think that comes from playing really, really tough teams. I think they've played both Pace and Choctaw so far this year. So, yeah, their defense is looking a little bit roughshod. And I think most people would if you played the two best teams in Northwest Florida. Who you got? Or no, let's not reveal our picks yet, but what are you looking for in this game first, Colin?
Yeah, so for Navarre, they're going back to back with two of the toughest teams. They lost to Milton last week, 53-26. Now they did have some good moments in that game. However, this came in garbage time, and the Navarre was able to pad the stats a little bit. But this is a Tate team who's coming off a bye after a 3-0 loss to Milton. Sorry, they're not coming off a bye. They played last week, but they're looking to flex some muscle. And this isn't the same Navarre team that we've seen in the past 4 or 5 years. This is a young Navarre team who's trying to rebuild, trying to get back into the Navarre Raiders from around the COVID era, who are almost unstoppable at sometimes during seasons back then. But the more I think about it, the more I think this could be a lock of the week either way. I'm not going to give it away, but I think those Pirates are going to be sent back home really bad. It's
Hunter Brock, me matey, what do you think about this game?
Well, I mean, an 0 speaks for itself. I mean, it's a rebuilding year for them. I just don't see them pulling off any quality wins, and it's just going to be a rebuilding season for the young team.
What do you think, Hunter?
Yeah, actually, I know one of their starting linemen, and I think he's a sophomore this year.
Okay.
So it's a rebuilding year for Navarre. This isn't what we would typically, not what I would expect to see out of Navarre. So I think they're going to be rough, have a rough time tonight.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we've gone through our analysis of these games. When we come back, we're going to be talking power rankings and we're going to do our picks for the week. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. The Final Approach to Game Day is brought to you by the good folks at Final Approach Irrigation. Owner and President Hunter Brock is one of the guys on this show and does a great job making sure that your lawn is looking like you can play on it for game day. They install irrigation systems and design them as well, and they provide even and efficient water distribution, keeping your lawn and landscape healthy while also making sure to conserve water. And if your sprinkler system is in need of an update, he's the guy to go to as well. They maintain and repair sprinkler systems from little broken sprinkler heads to faulty valves and leaks. They make sure to offer you fast and reliable repairs to keep your system running smooth. And finally, they take care of the little stuff that you may not think of that is super important to keeping a healthy lawn. Stuff like making sure that your drainage is properly installed and working. No matter what, Hunter and the folks at Final Approach Irrigation can take care of you. All right, guys, welcome back. And before we do anything, who's the best team in Northwest Florida? Colin Bester.
Oh man, why you just put me on the spot? I would say Choctaw Pace. It's Choctaw Pace. It could be a coin flip. It's how I probably wake up in the morning, how I feel. But after seeing Choctaw go to the Eagles' Nest and blow them out 42-7, it's pretty hard to beat that. If Milton beats Mosley tonight, it would be a toss-up between those two, but I'm going to say Choctaw.
Heath, what do you got, man?
Well, I have to agree. Out of all the teams I've seen, Choctaw was very impressive. I don't see any reason why they couldn't run the tables, and we see them playing for the state championship in their division. And the best of luck to them. They got a strong team and they've got some depth, and they're playing hard-nosed football. Period.
Hunter Brock, you agree?
Gotta agree.
Well, guys, I'm going to be the one dissenting voice just for argument's sake. I do think it's pace, and I do think it's because Mikael Williams, the second Mikael Williams gets scratch ankle or anything like that, I'm going to jump off the pace bandwagon. But hey, SMU, if you're watching, there's a tailback here that you should probably look at. Just saying, just pointing that out. Anyway, let's get into our power rankings, guys. There is a surprise on this one because we added something to our algorithm. We added the Florida HS football rankings to our algorithm, put them in the mix as well, weighted them pretty heavily relative to the Max Preps ranking. So we have a new and improved power ranking top 10. Check it out. Guys, you got to tell me, do you agree? We all said Choctaw number 1, Pace number 2, probably. I'm more interested at the bottom of the table. Well, actually, I guess the middle of the table is really the most thing. Mosley jumping Bay, Milton at number 4, I think is a fascinating decision by our algorithm. I'm not sure that I agree with it, but I can understand why after Bay takes a loss last week, they drop a little bit. And those are pretty close. That's a 1.5 between the top 3 of them. Anything else stick out to you guys?
I think it's well representative of the Emerald Coast and what's going on here. A lot of great teams we have here. They're very competitive, and they're just playing good football. Period.
The only surprise for me is I think Booker T. Washington should be probably one of the top 10 teams in this area. After seeing them play, they're now 3-1. I think they're the best team in Escambia County. I know Booker T. Washington Tate will play later this year, but looking at the talent on that team, there's a lot of seniors and juniors on that team who are leading that pretty much a veteran locker room, having that experience. I think at the end of the season, I think Booker T. Washington's a top 5 team.
What say you, Hunter?
So what happened with who did Bay lose to that caused them to drop here?
Oh,
did they play last week?
They played Bay.
They played last night and they played Pensacola High.
Oh, that they won that one, but who'd they lose to the week before? I think it was, hang on, schedule. I'm going to cheat and just pull up Bay High School schedule football because I'm a cheater and I should have had this information, but I didn't because of who I am as a person. They played Madison County. Rural superstars. Madison County beat up or lost to them 35-41. So a relatively close game. So I don't love dropping them below Mosley for a 5-point loss or 6-point loss to what is probably one of the top 15 best teams in the state.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was getting at there. I don't necessarily agree with that, with them being, below Mosley there. Considering they beat Mosley, and okay, they lost by 6 to a really good team. So it's kind of my thought on that.
Not only that, but they didn't beat Mosley by 1. They beat them by 2 scores.
Yeah.
So I'm not crazy about that pick. I'm also not crazy about Milton being ahead of Bay. I'm hopeful and optimistic about Milton, but I am still a little squeamish about putting them in the top 5. Catholic in there as well. Freeport. So numbers 6 and 7 playing tonight. We'll talk about our picks in this one and why here in a minute. Tate, South Walton, I think that's pretty fair. Baker coming in at number 10. They got a huge boost from the Florida HSFootball.com power rankings that got them pretty much from outside of the picks to number 10. So Baker fans, you can thank Florida HSFootball.com and Josh Wilson for that pick. I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I am not convinced that they are. I don't know.
They're a rural team, and that's hard when you have the A classifications. It's hard to put a rural team in the top 10. I understand that, but I will say Baker's playing some really good football. They are undefeated. Out of all the Okaloosa County schools, out of all the schools in Northwest Florida, there's only 4 undefeated teams left, regardless of classification. And in Okaloosa County, it's Choctaw and Baker. So yeah, I think having them top 10 is fine. I will say Bay is perfect where they are after allowing Pensacola High to put 28 points on them.
Okay, that's
and
fair.
Actually have Pensacola High possibly could have won that game if turnovers and penalty flags didn't hit them hard. According to what I read, they had somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 penalties last night for about 150 yards.
Those are SMU numbers.
They had a really bad night on penalties, and that hurt them a lot. But having Pensacola High, who's arguably one of the, I'm not going to say the worst team, but they're not good, coming basically 2 hours away and dropping 28 points on you, eventually making it a fourth quarter game. I mean, Bay eventually pulled away, but I mean, could have gone either way. And if those penalties didn't happen, we could be talking about the upset of the year right now, where Pensacola High beats Bay. So I think Bay is perfectly. We could get it tonight, guys, with Gulf Breeze. We could get it tonight.
Don't put that hell on me, Ricky Bobby. All right.
I'm just saying. It happen.
Other teams that didn't make the top 10 but got votes: Crestview 4 votes, Niceville 3.5 votes. Most of those coming from Max Prep's algorithm. That's frankly why we decided to introduce another big service into our personal algorithm, because guys, Niceville's not a top 10 team. Not this year. So Washington, I agree with you, Colin. I think Washington is a pretty good football team. And so I definitely take Washington in a Washington-Baker matchup. To me, Washington is a better team. I think they might be better than South Walton. I don't know where they are against Tate, so we'll see that in a couple weeks. And then Pine Forest bringing up the caboose with 1.5 points. So on the whole, I think I'm okay with these power rankings. I'm not crazy about them. We'll continue to refine how we get these power rankings throughout the year. But if you don't like them, or you don't see your team, and you just want to yell at us, put it in the chat. We don't mind getting yelled at. That's what we do professionally. Anyway,
Christopher at midbaynews.com.
Christopher at midbaynews.com is where you can hit us up and tell me that I have no idea what I'm doing, because you may be right. Anyway, going into our picks, who wants to go ahead and pick first? I have everybody except for Collins for some reason, but I'll pull it up in a minute, Colin. Don't you worry. Hunter, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I don't remember who I had. What game first? Where are we at?
Right here. You see it?
So
first one is
Freeport Catholic.
Freeport.
Yeah, I chose Freeport on this one. One, it's at home, and 2, I mean, have you seen that 6'5" tight end wide receiver?
Yeah,
what's his name? Julius or something like that. Yeah. I'm picking Freeport, man, and they're undefeated. Yeah. They're gonna be fired up.
I mean, a very good football team that is going to be hosting another exceptional football team this evening. But next game up, Mosley is hosting Milton. Who you got and why?
I got Mosley over Milton. We talked about this in depth a few minutes ago, but at the end of the day, I think Mosley with Tommy Joe Wooden is a quality program over there, and I think they're going to show up. So I got Mosley.
And then looking down, we got Niceville is heading over to Gulf Breeze to play the G-Wagon team over there at Gulf Breeze. Apparently, they all have G-Wagons, or many of them have G-Wagons. I don't know what the G-Wagon ratio is at Gulf Breeze, but that's just what I was told, and so I'm going with it because, hey, why not? Who you got on this one and why?
I got Niceville tonight. I think Niceville is a better team than Gulf Breeze traditionally is. I mean, Gulf Breeze is over here right now, but Colin mentioned it earlier, and I think we had a small chat about this through yesterday, maybe last night, today. I can't remember when we talked about this, but we could see an upset here from Gulf Breeze. I gotta hope not, but to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not certain what to expect out of Niceville right this minute. I mean, we got a lot going on. We've talked about it, but we got a lot going on.
Walton at South Walton. South Walton hosting this game. They're 3-1, coming off a loss to Florida State University High School. It looks like you picked South Walton. What gave you that choice?
I got South Walton, home field advantage, new field. And I think South Walton is a decent ball program this year, and Walton is, in the past, I've expected to see a little bit more out of Walton earlier this year than we have.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of lost a little bit of my hope in them on this matchup here. So I'm taking South Walton.
Right on. And then the big guns, Pace versus Crestview. You got Pace in this one, and it looks like you're pretty confident about this pick.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident about Pace. Of course, I would say this regardless because I'm a Niceville guy and it's Crestview. But as I mentioned earlier, Pace is traditionally been a solid team. Pace is they're very strong up front. They have been forever. I think they're gonna take Crestview and show them what's up.
Yeah, and then Tate and Navarre. You pick Tate. Are you more confident in Pace beating Crestview or Tate beating Navarre?
Gosh, I don't know. Let's go with the Tate over Navarre.
All right, there it is.
Is that a trick question?
That's where we're splitting hairs, baby. Well, all right. So, Colin, I found yours. You're welcome. I'm a genius. I can do it while talking. Colin is 20-8, one game behind Hunter Brock, and he needs these wins, baby. That's why he picks the different teams.
See, I think I picked Niceville to lose one too many times. I think if I remember correctly, I chose Pine Forest to beat Niceville, and that's why I'm down. But to be honest, at points of that game, I was probably going to put in a group chat, "Hey guys, I'm right. I know ball." Apparently, I don't.
It's okay. You don't
I'm
have
one
to,
game
man.
behind.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, man.
So my picks are I will say I'm going Milton. I'm a Milton homer. I'm a Milton through and through. FHS, the Florida High School Sports has Milton by 1. I'm going to say Milton by 1,000,000.
Oh,
they're going to win tonight.
Here we go.
Hang on.
Milton by 1,000,000.
Milton by 1,000,000 again.
Wow, that's confidence right there. That's confidence.
That is my lock of the week, Christopher.
Picks Milton.
Final answer.
Final answer, Milton by 1,000,000.
Well, I mean, we got to find like an advertiser for our certified locks. Chris Barnes over at Barnes Locksmith. I'm looking at you, my guy, for the Barnes Locksmith certified lock of the week. Yeah, I could see you doing that. And I mean, I think you're insane for it, picking a lock, but I don't think you're insane for picking Milton. I think Milton has a 1 point. They're giving them a point, or they're giving Mosley a point on this spread that apparently the Florida High School Athletic Association does now. They do bets now, so that's
no,
fun.
they don't do bets. They just do like favorites and how many points they. Josh Wilson has this computer algorithm that remember you were. By the way, you were on Florida High School Sports earlier this week, and you didn't tell us, dude.
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, I was on Wednesday.
You.
I know. It was kind of a last minute thing. I'll be on there a couple more times, and hopefully I'll let you know before I go next time. But we had a very enjoyable conversation about whatever the heck is happening at Niceville right now. And it was good. You got a certified lock, Pace versus Crestview. You got a little less confidence, about the same level, Tate over Navarre. What is giving you pause that makes you think maybe Navarre could win this thing?
Navarre is always a tough place to play. Even though they're 0-4 right now, that is always a tough place to play. The fans go out. The fans, I think if Niceville is the pinnacle of student sections, there's a step down, and Navarre is right there. I think it's always a fun place to go watch a football game. I will say something because I want to be right, and I want to lead the football standings at the end of this week. Give me Gulf Breeze and an upset, baby.
Oh, my gosh.
Lock it in. Gulf Breeze, give me the upset. Here's why. It's a district game for Gulf Breeze. This is pretty much their season. If they lose this game, the season is over. There is no chance for them. They can go 2-8, 3-7. They can win their every district game this year, and they can make the playoffs, even if they're 3-7. It's an automatic bid. So for them, this is the last chance for them to actually have a playoff bid. If they lose, the season's over. The playoff shot is done. So give me Gulf Breeze.
Chris, are you going to start drug testing here to be on this program?
Keith,
I'm clean.
We're all sinners in the hands of an angry God. We're all just sinners in the hands of an angry God.
Look, I get a lot of crap for picking Gulf Breeze, but Christopher Saul a couple weeks ago picked Rutherford to beat Baker.
That was last week. Whatever. And I was very wrong. Yeah, but when I do a lark, it's not like about a real football game. It's like Baker versus Rutherford. Like, come on, man. Hey, you locked it in. Hit the lock button.
There is no identity for this Niceville football program right now. They're young, and that's not their fault. They're young. They will get better. I think 2 years from now they'll be competing for district titles. They'll be competing for state titles. But this year is not the year. With a new coach and a young team, it's a very bad combination. By the way, I will say it was my first time ever experience a game at the Eagles Nest last week, and it was the best high school football experience I have ever had. Watching or attending a game, it was the best. The hot dogs were amazing, and they were cheap. So, shout out Niceville. They were great. But I think Gulf Breeze has, their backs are in the corner, and this is do or die for them. So give me Gulf Breeze very, very close. Give me South Walton. Give me Pace. And I think Tate's going to be a murder. I think it's not my funeral. I don't care. You find Colin at midbaynews.com. Email me. Tell me I'm wrong.
Or you can email his boss at Christopher@midbaynews.com. Anyway.
No. Come to me.
Come to me. All right. Well, we got Heath's picks up in here right now. Heath, Freeport. I like it. I like this aggressive pick from you. Wait, what makes you say Freeport today?
Well, I'm giving home field advantage.
Okay,
is really what it's coming down to. Now, it's not a a solid, but I'll tell you, it should be a really good game.
Mm-hmm. And looking at Mosley, I mean, Tommy Joe's consistently got his football program above 7, 6, 7, 8 wins every year.
Well, look, Milton, a blind squirrel find a nut every now and then. So they're having a good season, but consistently Mosley is going to have the program that I think is going to upset Milton tonight and put a L in their column for them and prevail. So Mosley all the way.
Right on. And then, Niceville, it looks like you have I'm just going to say the Chris Barnes Locksmith Certified Lock of the Week. You're welcome for the free advertising, Chris. Love you too. And tell me, my brother, why is Niceville a certified lock in this game?
Well, Niceville's going to go over there. I'll tell you, I think they had a really good week on the practice field. They look pretty poised. And, it is Gulf Breeze. So this will be kind of that game they can get back into it, kind of get a rhythm of things, play a little football, and get back to the basics.
Right on. South Walton, you got a certified lock there. Pace, certified lock. Are you picking Pace only because they're playing Crestview?
Well, I tell you what, this one I kind of waffled around on. I mean, I like Crestview, okay, but Pace has got a better program.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've got they're a little better coach. The bug is in the air for them. Crestview now is a wild card. I'll be honest with you. I kind of waffled, but Crestview could pull off an upset. But I'm gonna go with Pace.
Right on. And then finally, you got Tate taking the win at Navarre.
I mean, the records speak for themselves, and that was kind of one of those things. I just don't see Navarre competing at the level with Tate it's going to take to give them their second loss of the season.
All right, guys, gather around. Let's see my 6-0 picks for this week. I do have Freeport. I do have it at a very low confidence rating. And it is because of the star power they have at tight end / wide receiver. Sean Arntz is a good coach. The offense, while they've played really small rural teams, they've won. They've won a couple of shootouts, a couple of tough games. I think that says a lot about the team's character, regardless of the fact that they're playing against smaller teams. So yeah, I'm going to take Freeport. I'm not crazy about this pick. I'm not going to be like stunned if I'm wrong, although I won't be, because of course I'm going 6-0 this week. So I like Freeport in this, but not by much. Milton, kind of the same situation. I like Milton. I like Ronnie Douglas as a head coach, somebody that's taken an 0-10 team to a 5-0 team. I mean, that's insane. That's 15 win differential from one season to the next, and you only play 10 regular season games in a year. So I like Milton for this because of their head coach. I like Katie. I like a couple of the other players that they have over there that are mixing and matching positions, guys. I mean, that's the thing that totally stuns me about Milton's football team is that they have a guy that's going to Southern Mississippi to play wide receiver, and they're a team with, I think, like 4 passing yards this year. So they're mixing these guys around. They're playing aggressively. They're playing to their strengths. They're playing to what works, and I like that a lot. Next thing I'd point out is that on the Niceville Gulf Breeze, I don't know why it says Mosley, but it does. Niceville versus Gulf Breeze. I like Niceville. I think that Coach Morgan's, I think they're finally going to get their groove in this game. That's my hot take, is that sometimes you got to get punched in the mouth repeatedly to wake up and play football. And I think that that's one of these kind of teams. I think these are good players. I think that this is a good team. I think, like Colin said, they're probably not going to compete for a district title this year. But I think they got guts. I think they're going to leg it out. I think when, you're down 42-0 and you decide to go in and get a touchdown anyway, instead of laying down and dying, that says something about a team. So I like Niceville in this game. I don't think it's going to be a 35-0 blowout, but I like Niceville in this game. And then South Walton hasn't played. When they've won, they haven't beaten incredible teams, but at least they've won. Walton, losing to West Florida Tech, who is not super duper impressive to me, by 6-36 or whatever it was, that's no bueno. When you lose to Fort Walton, that's no bueno. So yeah, I'm picking South Walton in this one with a lower amount of confidence, but I'm picking South Walton in this one. Pace, this is my certified Chris Barnes locksmith lock of the week. I do like Crestview's defense. I think they're a good defense, but I think the problem is that when you leave the defense on, if you're playing 48 minutes of football and your defense is on the field for 35 minutes, 40 minutes, you can't get anything done. And you're going to give them short yard situations, and that's all you need when a Pace team likes to run the ball, needs to get in the end zone. So, yeah, I like Pace in this one, and I like them by a lot. And then finally, Tate versus Navarre. I'm picking Tate. I think Tate is just right there with Milton. I mean, they lost to Milton 3-0. And they have the ability to score. They've won most of their games with 20, 30 points. So I think they have an offense. I think they have a rock solid defense. It's not quite as good as Choctaw's, but it's rock solid. So I'll take Tate. But yeah, those are my picks, guys. I'm excited about tonight's games. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. And if you want to follow us, hit us up on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, the TikTok. Well, I guess it's still legal. YouTube, Twitter, you name it. We're there. We're going to have updates throughout the night. So we'll see you out there. And guys, thank you so much for joining us. And remember, if you have any irrigation needs, like I'm going to address with Hunter here in a minute, once we get offline, Final Approach Irrigation is the place to go. They make sure that your stuff works. They cut you a fair deal. They don't rob you and give you stuff you don't need. And this is the first time it's rained in like a month and a half. So if your lawn is suffering, I know why. It's because it's not being irrigated well.